Hello, Ignatius.
Adam.
Welcome. Well, not welcome, because you've been with us for what? How long now?
October
Last year. 2020.
Yes.
What a year.
Yeah. busy.
Busy. So Ignatius Martin, our resident milk tray man. He doesn't always dress like that. It's just today. I think he's thinking he's doing something special going.
I was told smart casual.
Yeah, sorry.
He's come very casual.
So Ignatius joined us from Cushman & Wakefield back in October last year, and you've had a phenomenal start to your Dockleys career.
Yes,
well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the hard work. So tell me a little bit about how you got into this industry.
Yeah. So
your journey.
So how did I get into the industry? So I went to university.
You did?
Yeah, I went to university, studied criminology and human rights.
Wow.
So there's a big
difference.
Big difference to what we're doing now.
Well, there's a few criminals in on this, so fortunately we're not one of them. I just want to clarify that. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so I went into criminology and human rights, and then I had a few people in the industry, so they worked for like Harts and like Dexter's, things like that.
Okay.
So local estate agencies. And then third year of uni, I was getting to the point where I actually needed to find a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then my friend was just like, "Oh, we're recruiting, so let's see what you can do." And then joined King's Group Estate Agency in May the 30th, 2017.
Wow, I remember that.
Yes. It was like I went to Miami for like 3 weeks, and then like I came back on a Wednesday.
So I remember the day. Yeah. Amazing. And from King's?
From King's, I was there for about 2.5 months. Was predominantly in Walthamstow, Leytonstone area.
Oh right, East.
So so it was covering the East, and then went over back to where I live in Croydon for a company called First Avenue. Was there for about 5 months, and then they introduced me into the new home sector, which I've now fallen in love with. And then I actually got headhunted by a recruiter, and then I joined Barrett's in 2018.
Brilliant. And Barrett's obviously being a huge name in property.
Yeah, so one of the biggest housing developers in the UK.
Absolutely. And you sort of had a few different positions.
So originally they employed me for Upton Gardens, which was the regeneration of the old West Ham football stadium.
Up the irons.
And then because I live in Croydon, they bought a site in Hackbridge, which is like 20 minutes away from my house.
Sutton?
Yeah, Sutton. Sutton's in Sutton. And then I actually launched that site there. Alongside with one of my colleagues, and then I was there for about 6 months, and then they needed help in Nine Elms.
Right.
So then I went over to Nine Elms.
Nine Elms Point?
Nine Elms Point, yeah. So I was there for about 3 or 4 months. Then they needed help in Mill Hill, so they needed me to help launch that site, so then helped there.
So we've gone east, south, southwest, northwest.
Northwest.
This man knows London. I thought I knew London.
So yeah, Barrett's was a very interesting journey.
I can imagine.
So I was there for about 2 years.
And dealing with big size developments, with hundreds and hundreds of flats.
So Upton Gardens was, I think, 1,000 units. Then New Mill Quarter was 400 units. Yeah. Nine Elms Point was like 600 odd units. And Mill Hill was about 300 with about 40 houses.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
amazing.
Big sites.
Yeah, excellent. And I know that actually originally, because we spoke about this, because my father was a policeman, and you actually wanted to become a policeman.
So when I before I went to uni, I actually wanted to become a police officer. So I was a cadet for 2 years.
Amazing.
So I was a cadet. So I used to do marches and drills up in Hendon.
Did you?
Dad knows.
Oh yeah, you know Hendon very well.
I was up there for a while, and then when I went to uni, I actually wanted to become a probation officer.
Oh yeah.
And then I ended up here. 4 years later.
Well, we have a running joke in our family that I'm an estate agent, my dad was a policeman, all we needed was my sister to be a tax advisor. We got set.
Honestly.
Then everybody would hate us. I'm joking. So, after Barrett Homes, you then went to Cushman & Wakefield, which is where we met.
Correct.
And you were working on the Makers in Shoreditch, which is obviously just down the road from us here. Yeah. You actually launched.
Yes. So it was already launched overseas, but the UK actual site itself wasn't actually launched. So I was employed there to basically oversee 175 units as basically the sales and marketing guy down there. So they launched it. When was it? 2019. 2019 in like September times.
Right.
And then at that time, the UK team only had one sale there. And between September to December, we was running about 25 sales.
So, well done.
So it's not too bad.
And that's where we met.
Correct.
And what triggered your thought to contact? Because you basically contacted me.
Yeah. So I realised, obviously through my experience working with Barrett's had a connection of agents that help them sell their developments, especially in prime London, such as the 9 Elms Point development. And I realised that at the Makers Building, they actually had no network of agents around.
Local
Agents. Literally nobody knew about the development just because of where it's offset City Road.
Yeah.
So I went round there, just basically went on Zoopla, just contacted everybody. And then you were one of the 60 agents.
Oh, and I thought I was...
You was one of the 60 agents.
60? I won 60?
Yeah. So my first month, I didn't do any viewings with any people. I just got a load of agents.
Well, at least you sold some.
Yeah, exactly.
Better than the other 50. That's fabulous. So we got obviously talking, and I explained our model, which is obviously very different to most estate agency model, and you obviously quite like that.
Yeah.
I've got 2 questions for you. First one is, what's the best thing about being an estate agent for you?
I think it's the transition from taking somebody from point A to point Z and seeing how you were with them for like 3 months on average.
You build a relationship.
Yeah, you build a relationship and just seeing from when they get the accepted offer all the way down
And
to
taking the journey.
And then when you see them, that smile on their face when there's been hurdles and
the keys being handed over.
literally.
I mean, that from you're in the same vein as me.
Literally.
I always bring it back to, I sold a penthouse in Canary Wharf to a couple, and the day that we handed over the keys, I went and met them down there, and I don't think they said 2 words to me.
Yeah.
They literally walked past me, took the keys, walked off, and they were both standing, staring at the river, because it was overlooking the River Thames, and they were both standing there hand in hand.
Yeah.
I had a tear in my eye. I was like, oh my goodness, this is why I do this job, and you get goose pimples, right?
Literally.
And that and the putting the phone down when she's done the deal and being like, we've done it.
Thank you.
We've done it. They're the 2 things for me. I can only imagine it being like scoring a goal as a footballer or something like that. My second question is, why Dockleys?
Why Dockleys? So,
Apart from me.
I don't think I've actually told you this. So, when I was transitioning from like Cushman & Wakefield to being self-employed, spoke to about 3 different agents.
Yep.
So one of them being Remax, and there's KFH. And I'm always the type of person that goes for vibes.
Yeah.
You can give me the big good. You can give me everything, but I go for vibes. And that's how I sell. I sell for vibes.
Yeah.
And I just felt that I remember our ever first conversation was in the Curtain. Just with the journey that I wanted to take, it seemed like you was very supportive. Because I originally wanted to go over to America, whilst being as a Cushman & Wakefield employee, and then you told me about you setting up the office in Hong Kong, etc., etc. And it wasn't a forceful thing. The other agents that I spoke to, it was just it was like this is what we want. This is what we have to offer. But you was more concerned about where I wanted to take my career, where I wanted to take the business, and
and that leads me on to my next question, which is where do you want your career to be?
Well,
the sky's the limit.
The sky is literally the limit. Just
going to take my job.
I'm going to take over Dockleys.
That's fine. I'm going to
continuing doing what I do, doing what I do in the new homes industry, and just building a reputation for myself, and then also for the Dockleys brand.
Fantastic. And my last one. And this is. I'm actually going to introduce more of my team. Ignatius has been the first one to be introduced. But tell me something that nobody knows about you.
Nobody knows. Okay,
no one knew you were going to be this one for a start.
So 2 things. I'll say I can play the piano.
Really?
Yeah, I can play the piano.
Wow. What do you play? Chopsticks.
I don't know what chopsticks is.
I can play that.
I literally just I can play Furlise, if you know what Furlise is.
Yeah. Okay.
River flows in you.
Wow.
So,
you can actually play.
yeah, I can actually play.
Oh, right, okay, fine.
I can actually play the piano. And then I do like mixed martial arts.
I was going to say that's something I know about. Maybe not other people know about you. That you're training now at the moment for a mixed martial arts fight. Which we're hoping to be
September times.
Coming around soon.
Hopefully. So.
Excellent. So we know that if anybody owes us any money, we're sending them in. I'm joking. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
Cheers.
Take it easy.
All the best.